Hello, and welcome back to our series of live interviews here at the Your Careers YouTube channel and upcoming podcast. We are so excited to invite Jeune here with us to help us host today's show. As you know, I am Jessie Wilkie, the owner and founder of Your Careers, where we help you rebuild your confidence as a professional to land better jobs and your dream salary. So please help me in welcoming the very lovely Jeune. Jenny, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Jessie. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. As you say, I am Jeune. I am Assistant Director of Human Resources. I've been in the industry, well, I'm telling my age, but about 16 plus years. 12 of those years have been in Human Resources. And as we, I know, right? As we get into the conversations, I'll tell a bit more about the HR experience, but I definitely can say it's been a fun ride. It's still going. And I've learned a lot, and I can say, coming in, I thought it was just all planning parties and just having fun events, but little did I know there'll be a lot more than the little girl who just walked into HR saying, I just want an HR job and turn it into a career. So it's been good. It's been fun.
It's been such a pleasure connecting with you previously and currently being an HR rep. I know that I've been furloughed at the moment. However, having you as a massive and impactful connection throughout this journey of my own has been phenomenal. I've gotten to see you work and see what you do to make a difference really in not just the world of human resources, but your associates, and how you drive equal opportunity and the importance of diversity in the workplace, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So without further ado, I'd love to jump right into that conversation if you are ready.
Absolutely, I'm ready. Let's get to it.
Amazing.
Rock and roll.
Yes, I'm so pumped. So for our first question, can you tell us a little bit about equal opportunity, what that is, and what does that mean to you?
Equal opportunity, I think the cliche definition is about giving everyone an opportunity regardless of their race, color, religion, things like that. But I want to take it deeper and say more from the HR perspective, it's about giving everyone an opportunity for those who are qualified. That makes sense. In a sense, I know a lot of times we may apply for a position and say, well, I didn't get this position, but understand, or because you're not following equal opportunity practices. But if we want to be realistic, it's about what you're qualified for. So it's about giving everyone who's qualified and has a skill set an equal opportunity, in the sense of making sure they go through the same application process, the interview process. If there's an assessment, you're going through the same thing, regardless of their race, color, sex, origin, or anything like that. That, for me, is what equal opportunity is about. I mean, honestly, I can't apply for a physician job if I've never been to medical school and then say it wasn't equal opportunity because it wasn't given to me. Does that make sense? That's, for me, what equal opportunity is all about.
Absolutely. And I love that because I think it's a buzzword that gets thrown around in not only the human resources world, but in the applicant side of things of, I'm going to, when I'm pivoting into a new career or a new opportunity, as we say, right? We're going into it with the mindset of, well, everyone gets a fair chance. And yes, that is true. However, everyone who is qualified, as you were saying, gets a fair chance, because I can't show up to be a brain surgeon without going to medical school. I can't show up to fight cases in the court if I haven't gone to law school.
Absolutely.
And although I may have a passion for that, I must work hard at developing the skill sets and the requirements that we need in order to give myself an equal opportunity at applying and potentially interviewing and getting the role that I'm applying for.
Absolutely. And the key word in what you said is being fair to yourself. So as we said, not only is it not fair to the company to assume you're not getting the perfect opportunity, you're not getting that equal opportunity, but also be fair to yourself. Make sure you come in with the experience, with the skill set that you're looking for. I mean, I think as HR professionals, we do our best when it comes to recruiting to make sure we put out there what is it we're looking for. So when someone is applying, take a look at the application. What is it, the education or the qualified skill sets that's needed to get that equal opportunity, to apply for that position. And that, to me, was what equal opportunity is all about.
I love that you said that, because a lot of what we do in or at your careers rather, is really encouraging our clients to not just submit a random or generic resume, to take the time
Absolutely.
to
Yes.
look at the job description or the qualifications or the necessary requirements for that role. Because if you're submitting an application that has no resonance or relevance for that position, it's going to read you as not a qualified applicant. And so paying attention to that job description is a phenomenal piece of advice. So with what we've talked about at this point, what has your journey in HR been as a minority?
Oh, wow. Definitely been a great learning and humbling experience. I can tell you my first HR job, I know as a African-American and Haitian descent woman, that's the reason why I got the job, because I speak Creole. And I can tell you that for me, I felt I needed from that point to work extra hard to prove myself, because again, I didn't see many of us or many minorities in the community of HR. I mean, I've been even going to many different HRs before I got my first job. It was mostly, different races. So for me coming in, I felt I needed to prove that it can happen. It is a possibility. I am definitely grateful for it till this day. It's got me where I am. But being that I, like I said, was the only one in the office of a minority and speaking Creole, gave me the opportunity. But it has definitely been a great journey. I mean, it's helped me to not only help the upcoming generation see that, it can happen, but it's also opened many doors. I think, it gives me that comfort of being able to help the people in my community. A lot of times, and I'll kind of talk about that a little bit later too, when you have people that you're familiar with and they see someone they're familiar with who can speak the same language, who can understand them, it gives them that comfort to be able to come to you. So with that particular journey, not just in the first HR office I worked at, but in many of the different hotels I've worked at, it's allowed me to, again, help the people in my community and people of just a minority. A lot of times, they're afraid to come to HR. They don't want to come to HR. They think they're in trouble. I'm like, HR is not just the principal's office. We do a lot more. So it's okay.
We're not the police, I promise.
Exactly. We're not the police. I mean, we have an open door policy. It's okay to come in. It's okay to ask the questions. So I think for me, it's, like I said, it's been a humbling journey. It's been a great experience. And again, still going, but I think for me, just being the minority and being able to speaking Creole has really opened those doors for people like that see, people that's a familiar face in HR and they're not afraid to come in. They're not afraid to ask the questions and they feel more comfortable, which then brings, a diverse community. And we'll talk about that later, but I definitely think that has really helped me along the way.
Absolutely. And I love that you touch on the fact that you speak Creole, and that is such a major asset. Speaking from a place where you and I work in South Florida, and we know the importance of the fact that we live and work in one of the United States' biggest melting pots, it's important to highlight on your resume or even in your interview or on your application that you have skill sets such as speaking other languages like Creole or Spanish or French, because we get to a point sometimes where we're so focused on what is the role, what are the hard skills that we have, and we forget to mention those soft skills like speaking Creole or speaking Spanish or speaking another language that can open doors for you as an applicant. And so I love that you touch on that. Not only does that help for you in HR in being able to speak another language, but in, like you said, creating a diverse work environment where minorities or people who may not be originally from here and our home can feel more comfortable to walk into HR and ask questions. And so as we're talking about that, can you tell us a little bit of why you think diversity is important in the workplace?
Oh, wow. It kind of ties back to what I just said, but diversity is very important because, again, it brings unity. It brings inclusion in the workplace. And as I said before, like me speaking Creole, or if you have someone who speaks Spanish or of a different culture, different language, it helps people feel welcome. So when they see, again, a familiar face, it helps us understand each other better, build relationships. If I don't get to know where Jessie's from, or Jessie doesn't get to know where I'm from, how am I able to relate to her better or have a relationship with her? And that's why, to me, it's important. And I think that, even statistics say having a diverse population of what 35% of companies are likely to perform better. And of course, if they perform better, the bottom line is more profit, as we know at the end of the day. But definitely, diverse companies, as I said, it definitely opens doors for people from all over the world. And when you have a diverse population, you get feedback from everybody and you get inclusion. Again, including people makes them feel like, okay, I'm part of this company. I'm part of what the vision's all about. So it makes them want to give back, makes them want to work harder to, contribute to your company. So like I said, diversity is important. It's needed. And I think we're starting to see a lot more especially in our hospitality industry throughout the past years. It's grown a lot.
Absolutely. And I think that when you talk about diversity and inclusion,
Mm-hmm.
reality is that when we don't all come from the same place, that means we come presenting different ideas and different ways of thinking. And I think there's a beauty in moving that bottom line to a place where the business is more profitable because we have a diverse population providing diverse ideas, providing diverse work ethics, and different ways of executing the main goal, right? And so there's a beauty in saying, okay, this is where we're trying to get to, but the journey and how we get there, we are open to utilizing different ideas, utilizing different mindsets and different skill sets to get there. And having that diverse population, not only in the workplace, but also in HR, helps us to create connection, right? Because I think the way Jesse thinks, you think the way Jenny thinks.
Yep.
Joe Schmo, or,
Bob.
I forgot what the girl version of Joe Schmo is. Joe Schmo thinks differently the way that they do. And I think there's a beauty in bringing that and making people feel comfortable in being able to share those ideas. Because if I walk into an office of no one who looks like me or talks like me or sounds like me or comes from a place that I come from, I'm going to feel much more apprehensive to share my ideas and ask questions. Do you feel like that's correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, ties back to not only when you see someone, a familiar face, but also like, let's say someone who speaks Creole, maybe they don't know how to express themselves or, give an idea in the English language. But if they come to me and express it to me and I'm able to translate it for them, then at the end of the day, their opinion was given. They feel included. They feel like, you know what? Oh my God, we matter. So to me, that's why, again, when you have a diverse culture, again, whether it be a language barrier, whether it be us including our associates, it makes them feel welcome. It makes them feel like they're part of the company. And especially nowadays, I think everyone wants to feel included, but their opinion matters. You don't get to that top goal without having the opinion of your other employees. You have to know what's their feedback? What do they like? What are their experiences? I think from HR, a lot of times we're behind the scenes. So we have to go to the people that are on the front line and see, okay, what is it that you want? What are your experiences? How can we do better as a company? And hence the reason why we have opinion surveys or employee surveys, because we want to get the feedback from our entire population, not just one particular culture, someone from a particular background. It's everyone. And also, if you look back at it too, if you look at the but hospitality industry, when you have people that travel from all over the world. So if they come in and just see one particular race or one particular color, they're like, okay, well, there's no diversity here. So it doesn't really, want them to come back. So in order to welcome your people to come back and see that, you know what, this is a diverse company, they're about that, then you have to open those doors. And then again, it opens, like you said, bottom line profit, people coming to your hotel, traveling and saying, wow, I met this person from, Africa, or this person from Haiti, this person from, this particular country in Australia or wherever. But it shows like, wow, this company really is a diverse company.
Absolutely. And I love that you touched on the fact that getting feedback is not just getting feedback from one particular percentage of our associate body. It's getting feedback from everyone. And if we do not have the means, AKA the diversity within our own office and human resources, to be able to not only gather that information, but translate that information and utilize it to create a better work environment, there's no point in having that survey in the first place. So I love that you brought that up. So what do you think is your role in ensuring that there is diversity in the workplace?
I mean, wow, it's definitely about, it starts with education. Education is one, from an HR perspective, recruiting from different colleges and universities, giving opportunity from, again, people from different cultures, recruiting people from different social economic backgrounds, it's a mouthful, putting together engagement opportunities, engagement activities. When we do rallies, for example, how do we make sure that everyone is not the same group of people not sticking together? How do we kind of divide it in a sense of making sure that they interact with other people, do engaging type activities? Again, as we said, knowing their issues and their experiences helps us, ensure there's diversity in the workplace. I can't tell you, say, for example, when I started there, current company I'm at now is going on 4 years, but a couple of years ago when we said, let's start a diverse type of culture, of course. And we started Haitian Flag Day, celebrating Haitian Flag Day, Jamaican Independence Day, Hispanic Heritage Month. So many people came and said, wow, they felt so proud and so excited about what we were given. Number one, they get to taste the good food that we were serving, but also just the flags, just the quizzes that we would do. And they just got to learn about everyone else's culture and background. And they were so excited because it was something that we've done for the first time, obviously, within that company. But it just showed them that we care about them and we want them to feel included. We want people to know it's not just, this particular population, not just the Haitians, not just the Jamaicans, not just the Hispanics, but everyone here matters, and we're diverse, and we want to celebrate you because, again, you matter. You, the people, matter. You're the one on the front line. So I think, to me, that's how we as HR representatives play a role in that. And even when you do, I remember the first time when you came and did training, I was like, Jessie, I like to split my people up because I know a lot of times we get into cliques. We want to stick together. And I was like, Jessie, I mix up the names. I don't let them sit together because I know how they're going to sit and click. So if we don't do that, because again, we stick with what we're familiar with. We have the people we hang with. We have the people we work with all day. It mix and mingle. I mean, talk to other people. How do we expect to be diverse if we're afraid to have the conversations with those who are not like us, or those who don't look like us? And so for me, I do that all the time.
That is such a good point, and it's almost like you read my mind through the camera because
I know you
to touch on that, the beauty of being previous coworkers. But
exactly right.
I wanted you to touch on that so much because of the fact that when we talk about diversity, right, a lot of our minds go to race, religion, right, where we're from, but we forget that diversity is also a part of personality type. And so when you start to develop these cliques at work with the people that you align with in regards to your personality, right? The ones who have similar work ethic as you, or the ones who have similar work-life balance as you also create a barrier between you and the next person who may not think like you, act like you, and may have a different viewpoint that could be beneficial to the end goal. And so there's important that you talked about not only creating that mix and mingle in regards to race and religion, but also in regards to personality type, because I'm naturally going to connect with the people that are like me, but that also means I'm interacting with the people who talk like me, who think like me, and who are validating the way that I talk and think and act, and may be blinding me to ways that I can do things better in the workplace to generate better results.
Right. And
I'm opening my mind to what other people think and speak.
Absolutely. And you said a good point. It's about being open-minded, because if we're afraid, again, to have those conversations or to meet people, and again, like you said, doesn't always have to be someone of a different color, of a different race or religion, different personalities, or again, I can be of the same race with someone and we have different personalities and different opinions, but not being afraid to mix and mingle, again, have the conversation. And you'd be amazed what you learn about other people just by having the conversations, how much that people can open up to you. Maybe they just needed someone to talk to. I mean, this, again, I've learned in HR, just again, yes, of course, speaking Creole and being a minority helped me, but how comfortable people can come to you, sometimes a little too personal. But for the most part, you don't know how much you can help them just by being that open individual, that open-minded person who isn't afraid to have a conversation, or just going in the cafeteria. I used to tell the girls in the office all the time, I work with, sit with someone you haven't sat with in a week or so, or you've never sat with, because it shows them that, wow, okay, especially from an HR perspective, we're not just sticking with our HR people, we're not just sticking to ourselves, but we can go out there and be that example, because if people see that we're doing that, then they may want to do the same thing. So we have to be that example to show people how we can spread the diversity, how can we make sure that it is happening in the workplace. So it starts with us, especially HR representatives, because people look to us to set that example.
Absolutely. Ah, my little HR heart is singing.
I know, right?
I'm like, yes, she gets it.
I do.
So as you talk about the setting the example, right? What is something that we as associates, say we're not in HR, what are some things we can do as employees to support and respect diversity within the workplace?
Again, it ties a lot back to what we've been saying, but it's about embracing one another, stepping out of our comfort zone. And again, that's just not an HR thing. That's a human being thing. We, again, not sticking to what we know all the time. We have to be able to educate ourselves. Again, as we say, when, you know, my favorite saying is, you know better, you do better. If you don't educate yourself on someone else's culture, get to know them, embrace them, be open-minded, step out of your comfort zone. How do you know how to relate to them better? You won't be able to do better. So that's very important. Again, just not being judgmental. Jesse and I have different opinions. I can respect your opinion, you respect mine. We can agree to disagree, but it doesn't mean that, oh my God, Jesse's a bad person or I'm a bad person. It just means that we again, Jesse is that way because she may come from this particular background. I was raised this way, that's why I think this way. And it can help me know you a lot better. So again, it ties back to, again, being open-minded, stepping out of our comfort zone. Again, talking to people of a different culture, even again, different race, whatever it is, or just people in our setting in general, not sticking to the ones we know. It's okay to, again, you can have your clicks, yes, but sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone. And I think that's what we as human beings tend to do. We tend to be introvert a lot of times. Oh my God, I don't know this person. I'm afraid to have the conversation. And I get it. Not everyone has that outgoing, crazy personality, but it just starts with, hey, how are you? How's your day? Generic conversation. It doesn't have to get into politics and the crazy nonsense, but just generic conversation. How's your day? How was your weekend? Start with those conversations with someone, again, that you are not familiar with. That's really how it starts. I mean, I'll be honest with you. One thing, I was very, very, very shy going into HR, and my HR manager at the time said, listen, if you want to make it in this industry, that shyness has to go out the window. So she threw me in a training one day. I mean, I think I had like maybe a day or two to prepare, and I was like crazy nervous. But I say that because if I didn't get out of my comfort zone, if I didn't get to that, someone didn't push me, then I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. So I know what it's like to be afraid to have conversations with people you don't know, or how to spark the initial conversation. But just by, saying sometimes a little joke, nothing offensive, of course, but joking with someone or just, again, generic conversation, and then ease your way in is a way to start, because I know how I was coming into HR. I wasn't like that. I was that shy girl. I was like, it's like, nope, not in HR. So I understand how it is. But again, it really is important to embrace other people, learn of the different cultures, understand people's feelings and thoughts, because again, if you don't, seek to understand, you can't be understood.
Absolutely. I love that. Mic drop.
That's it.
I love that. And I love the fact that you talk about getting to know people. Some of us, conversation doesn't come easy, and that's no. Okay. Mm-hmm. However, you can still be open to better understanding who you work with, especially within your team, because again, there's diversity in culture. There's also diversity in personality and work ethic. Right. And the more you understand why people do or execute or act in a certain way, the more collaboration you're able to build, because you're not just seeing things through the lens of Jesse or seeing through the lens of Jenny. You're seeing through the lens of John and Josh and Jennifer, and you're able to understand why they execute that way. Absolutely. And better collaborate and foster an environment of teamwork, because you're open to saying, okay, they don't do it my way.
Right.
Let's find out why they do it that way, because there has to be
Exactly.
a reason for everything that we do. For every behavior, there has to be a return on investment for ourselves, and that's why we do it that way.
Absolutely.
So by being able to say, okay, let me not judge them, let me err on the side of giving the benefit of the doubt, and err on the side of seeking to understand rather than being understood, you're able to create a better work environment of teamwork and collaboration, because again, you're being open-minded. And I love, love, love your saying of, if you don't know better, you can't do better. It's this, it goes hand in hand with insanity, right? You cannot be doing the same thing and expecting different results. It doesn't happen that way. So if we want to be in a place where diversity is not only respected, but it's valued in the workplace, we have to change our mindset from being, this is the way I do it, to being more open-minded and understanding not only the way that others do it, but why they do it that way and why it brings them value. Because in reality, you may learn something new and you may be able to take something tangible that you can execute yourself in the way that you do work.
Absolutely. And we have to remember there's no I in team. I mean, I know people say it all the time, but really there is no I in team. And the only way any organization, any major corporation has been successful is all about teamwork, collaboration, diversity groups that they have, because they need to get the opinion of others. If it's just all about what Jenny thinks, then the company will never get better. We won't innovate. We won't grow. But again, if you look at, there's reasons why people do surveys after you leave, you check out of a hotel or you go somewhere that people have surveys, because they need to get the opinion of other people in order to understand the consumer, who's the one that's out there contributing to your company. It's the people. So if you don't get the mindset of those from whatever personality, race, culture, different age groups, you're not going to grow. And in order, we have to continue to be a trend and maybe set that trend to make sure that we're understanding people. We're making sure that we're including others. And that's where the whole diversity and inclusion comes in, because again, without teamwork and collaboration, your company won't grow. It'll be stagnant, like you said. And if you're expecting different results, again, you have to be able to get others' opinions and embrace it. It can't just be all about me and what I think. What does Jesse think? And Jesse's opinion may be, oh my God, sparks another idea. This is great. Jesse did it this way. That's amazing. Whether I put my idea with yours, or I can say, you have a better idea than mine. Let's try that. And I've seen it in so many companies, and in the different HR settings I've been in, just the hotels I've been in, without diversity and inclusion or just the opinion of others, your company won't grow. You won't innovate.
Absolutely not. And I think that there comes, when we talk about being open-minded, I think one of the driving reasons why we're not is because there's a fear of the unknown, right? And so we talk a lot about, at your careers, we talk a lot about rebuilding your confidence as a professional and showing up to work with a level of confidence in what you bring to the table, but with a level of humility in saying, if someone else's way is better, that's okay.
Right.
And I have enough confidence in myself to say, okay, that doesn't mean that I'm less of a professional or less of a success at my role. This means that I was confident enough with what I brought to the table to be open-minded, to look at what everyone else in my team is bringing to the table and saying, I'm humble enough to recognize that I can't do this by myself. And someone else's idea might be what propels us as a team to the next level, because reality of what regardless of what we do in the workplace, it takes more than one person to accomplish anything. And so we can sit here and say, I'm the reason why we got to the next goal, or my idea. But it is amazing what we can accomplish together when we do not care about who gets the credit, when we do not care about who brought the best idea to the table, and we simply are open to what everyone has to bring and utilizing the greatest assets from every person to be able to propel ourselves to the next level. And I think not only does that take confidence in yourself as a human being and a professional, but it also takes humility in saying, I'm so excited to not be the smartest person in the room, because that only will make me smarter in the long run.
Absolutely. And you brought up a great point when you talked about how, it doesn't have to be your idea, or it doesn't, because at the end of the end goal is how do we make the company better, excuse me, whether it came from Jesse, whether it came from Jenny, but overall, how did we as a team make the company better? And I have to understand, to be open-minded, that just because Jesse may have come from a different background, when I say background, I'm talking about background experiences. So yes, Jesse may have a longer years of experience or gone through different hotels who've done things differently. And you and I are, working together. I've shared that all the time. From your previous company, there were some things you had, and I would say, oh, you know what? At my previous company, we did this way, and we would collaborate together and brainstorm with great ideas. Coming together to make that a whole, that's what's the most important. That's what's going to get us to the ultimate goals. But you have to be humble enough to say, you know what, I'm open to listen to what other people have to say, because at the end of that, I can learn, number one. And two, also with that, the ultimate goal is about how we make the company better. It's not just about me, because as I said before, there's no I in team, and we can't get to the ultimate goal with just having the mindset of it's just about me.
Absolutely. There's no I in team, and there's no I in goal either. And that's
Absolutely. Look at that. Absolutely. I love it.
And on that, I will wrap this up with asking you, is there anything, I know that we've been, through a weird transition of 2020.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you, a lot of our clients are either transitioning, pivoting into a new role, or working from home and transitioning into a new work environment per se. Are there any words of encouragement that you can offer to our clients and our followers at Your Careers to just simply keep going? Anything you'd like to share with them today?
I mean, I definitely want to say yes. These are definitely trying times, but working from an HR standpoint, just a human being in general, we have to stick together. Definitely check on our loved ones, whether it be coworkers or people out there, just making sure we're checking on each other, because not everyone is embracing the new normal the same way. So again, be open-minded, step out of our comfort zone, check on those we haven't talked to in a long time, coworkers, friends. But I think that we hang in there, we stay positive, we'll definitely get to the ultimate goal of getting past this 2020 COVID-19 quarantining that we're going through. But again, it's about staying positive, because again, we've been down a road of, the 9/11 or other times before, and we've made it. Look, who would thought that we'd be here this, today. So we would get past this. But it's again about sticking together, not just introverting or quarantining ourselves. Yes, we want to make sure we quarantine and stay safe, but let's just continue to stay positive, educate ourselves on this particular situation, and start thinking in the future, how are things going to change? How are things changing now? A lot of things are all social media. Look how Zoom has grown so much. We weren't doing Zoom meetings back then. So this also will help us understand, how can we innovate? How can we grow our company in this new normal that we have? So it's time for us to start thinking, putting our thinking caps on while we have the time to do it. Because if before we were just on the go. And I think this was a way to slow us down, for us to, number one, humble ourselves, and also start putting the thinking caps on how we're going to get better with this new normal that we have. But again, stay positive and just support each other. That's the best way I can say. It's the best way I can put it, really.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for joining us
today. Jesse.
I think this was a phenomenal conversation. And for those watching, we hope that it brought value and maybe a few new topics to think about when you put that thinking cap on. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It really was such a great conversation, and I think something that needs to be talked about. If you don't already follow Your Careers at Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, we will link that in the show notes. In addition to that, if you're interested in working with us, but you're not sure how we can help, you can visit our website at www.yourcareers.com. I'll go ahead and put it right here so you can take a look at how it's spelled. I'll also put the link in the show notes as well. Or simply email us your resume. We do a lot of resume work in opening doors for you to land your dream job and your dream salary, because we all work for a number and we work to get paid. So you might as well get paid what you should get paid. So go ahead and email us at jwilkie@yourcareers.com. Thank you again for all of us who joined us. Thank you, Jenny J.
Jesse, thank you. thank you to you and yours careers. I mean, for what you're doing, it's amazing. I mean, I love the platform. I mean, like I said, it's always a pleasure working with you, and I know we'll be working again together soon. But thank you so much for what you're doing during the quarantine time. I love it. Keep up the good work, and I know that this will definitely be a platform and open doors for many others, and especially in the resumes that you're putting together. You're doing amazing, and I love you for it. Thank you for again having me as a guest speaker today. Thank you.
It was such a privilege. Isn't she a gem? I can't get enough, but I am so happy for everyone who joined us. Thank you again, Jenny, for joining us. And remember, this is your career. Bye.
All right. Bye.